A social worker diagnosed my mom with borderline personality disorder. This was back in 2005 or 2006. And I didn't really know what happened with that. She was working with this woman, she was going to a group DBT program, and then all of a sudden she wasn't anymore and she wasn't seeing the social worker. So I figured, it being common with people with borderline, that my mother had decided that she didn't want to work with this woman anymore. But it turned out that this woman was in over her head and couldn't, give my mom what she needed, and so ended the relationship. And then my mom never spoke of borderline again. But I guess at a time when I was frustrated and desperate and wanting to figure something out because my relationship with my mom was at a breaking point, I remembered this diagnosis that she had gotten, and I thought, well, what about that? And sort of dusted that off the shelf and looked up borderline again and looked at the DSM and looked at the symptoms, and it really rang true to my mom. And so it felt like a lifeline. It felt like there was an answer to what was going on. And so I thought, well, there's this therapy for borderline, and my mother's never really received it or really given it a fair shot, so why not let's bring that to her attention? And that's where I had the idea of, we need to sit her down and talk to her and see what comes of it. So that's what you might call an intervention. And it did feel like an intervention, because she knew that our relationship was at a breaking point, but she didn't know what I was going to say.